The sad Yellowstone Dutton record only Harrison Ford's 1923 hero has broken. Jacob Dutton, Harrison Ford, in 1923 is the only male Dutton to break a sad record that runs through the rest of the Dutton men in Yellowstone. Taylor Sheridan's neo-western comprises the flagship Yellowstone series, the prequels 1883 and 1923, and upcoming spin-offs Marshals, the Dutton Ranch, and the Madison. Yellowstone is about generations of the Dutton family protecting the largest ranch in the United States, a swath of land in Montana the size of Rhode Island. Founded in 1883 by James, Tim McGraw, and Margaret Dutton, Faith Hill, the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch remained in the family until it was returned to the Native Americans at the end of Yellowstone Season 5. 1883 depicted the epic saga of how the Duttons arrived in Montana, and 1923 picked up the story of the Duttons defending their ranch from millionaire poacher Donald Whitfield, Timothy Dalton. Yellowstone saw the extreme measures John Dutton III, Kevin Costner, used to keep his ranch in the present day before his death midway through Yellowstone Season 5. As brave and resourceful, and occasionally lacking scruples, as the male Duttons who led the Yellowstone Ranch are, however, their wives are usually smarter and more adaptable. Unfortunately, the Dutton men have been tragically unlucky in their marriages, except for the one Dutton who broke that mold. Harrison Ford's Jacob is the only Dutton male whose marriage lasted. Jacob Dutton is the only Dutton male whose marriage lasted into old age. It's not clear when Jacob married Cara Dutton, Helen Mirren, but they were already a loving and supportive couple for decades before Margaret Dutton summoned them to Montana to take over as stewards of the Yellowstone Ranch. In 1923, Jacob and Cara are in their 70s and have been running the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch for 30 years. Jacob survived multiple gunshot wounds in 1923 Season 1, with Cara taking over his responsibilities during Jacob's recuperation. Surprisingly, Jacob and Cara both survived the violent war with Donald Whitfield in 1923 Season 2. Instead, tragedy struck both of their male nephews, Spencer Dutton, Brandon Skellner, and Jack Dutton, Darren Mann. At the end of 1923 Season 2, Jacob and Cara were still together, choosing to retire as Spencer assumed full control of running the ranch. It's not clear how long Jacob and Cara live, but their marriage is a happy one despite its many challenges. Jacob and Cara Dutton are the longest-lasting marriage in the Yellowstone saga, accomplishing a feat that has eluded every other male member of the Dutton family line that we know of. Every other Dutton male in Yellowstone's marriage ended in tragedy. Dutton marriages tend not to last in Yellowstone, although a few lasted happy years before violence and tragedy struck. James and Margaret Dutton were married for about 30 years by the time James died from a gunshot wound in 1893, and Margaret froze to death not long after. In 1923, Spencer Dutton was separated from his new bride, Alexandra of Sussex, Julia Schleiper, soon after they married. Alex spent all of 1923 Season 2 fighting to reunite with Spencer, but she died from the aftereffects of frostbite soon after they found each other again. The reverse tragedy happened to Elizabeth Strafford, Michelle Randolph, in 1923 Season 2. Not long after marrying Jack Dutton, he foolishly gets himself killed by Donald Whitfield's loyalists. The pregnant Elizabeth left Montana and her sad memories behind. In Yellowstone, John Dutton III constantly laments his late wife, Evelyn, Gretchen Mole, who died in an accident in 1997 that was blamed on their daughter, Beth Dutton, Kelly Riley. Yellowstone takes place over 2 decades after Evelyn's death, and it's a wound that never healed for John. There is another Dutton male whose marriage details are unrevealed. John Dutton II, Dabney Coleman, lived to age 90, but no info is known about who his wife, the mother of John Dutton III, was, how long she lived, or how long she and John II were married. Case Dutton's marriage is a big Yellowstone spin-off question. In Yellowstone, the only one of John Dutton's 3 sons who married and had a child was the youngest, Case Dutton, Luke Grimes. Case married Monica Long, Kelsey Bill, a Native American, and they have a son, Tate, Brecken Merrill. Case and Monica's marriage had its ups and downs throughout Yellowstone's 5 seasons, but they were together and planning to start a new phase of their lives with Tate after Case sold the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch back to the Broken Rock tribe. However, Kelsey Bill hasn't been announced as part of the cast of Marshals, the upcoming CBS spin-off about Case Dutton. Although Brecken Merrill will return as Tate, it's unknown whether Kelsey Bill will reprise Monica, or why not if she isn't. Marshals could mean the end of Case Dutton's marriage to Monica, which would clock their relationship somewhere around 20 years together. This would mean Case holds up the Dutton male tradition of marriage, especially if it's revealed Monica has died. Meanwhile, Beth Dutton and her husband, Rip Wheeler, Cole Hauser, headlined their own Yellowstone spin-off, the Dutton Ranch. Beth and Rip were sweethearts since they were teenagers, but they are relatively new to marriage. Beth and Rip need to stay together for decades to catch Jacob and Cara Dutton's Yellowstone marriage record, but since Beth is the Dutton and married a Wheeler, Jacob's record for the Dutton male's longest marriage will remain intact regardless.